Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another combo review video where I say words and you, the beautiful people, listen. It is I, your crazy Nicolas Cage, your steward of Gondor, your genius, billionaire playboy, basic YouTuber philanthropist, SuperCliff. And would you kindly hit that like and subscribe button, for every little bit helps in this majestic YouTube world. Now today, folks, we are covering the finale to Marvel's current Dewey events. That being, of course, King in Black, issue number 5, written by Marvel's Golden Boy, Donny Cates, and drawn by Ryan Stegman. Now, just an FYI before we delve into this issue, if you haven't read Venom issue 34, then I would strongly suggest that you do so before reading King in Black issue 5, because it serves as a prequel tie-in for this issue. So yeah, with that being said, let's do this. As our story begins, as all stories should, with a standoff between Silver Surfer and Knull. And here Knull recalls back to the day when he first met the Surfer, which of course, if you've read Silver Surfer Black, then you know that both Knull and the Silver Surfer have a history with one another. And so here the Silver Surfer confirms that yes, the two of them have met many years ago. But Silver Surfer also mentions that he is still unimpressed by the villain's presence. And once Silver Surfer says that, he begins to formulate his surfboard into a cosmic longsword in order to face down Knull. And once doing so, Silver Surfer's like, hey buddy, the God of Light has returned. So yeah, you're screwed. Your time's coming up, bud. But Knull doesn't really care about that. He's not really fazed by the Silver Surfer's threat, as he assures the Surfer that, yeah, okay, so the God of Light's back. Big deal. Even if he is back, you have to know that darkness will always prevail. And that's when the Silver Surfer says, perhaps. And then, bada bing, bada boom. Everyone from the Avengers, the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, they all start showing up to give one final push against Knull and his symbiote forces. But hold on to your butts, folks, because we're literally getting an Avengers Infinity War Wakanda moment right here. Because remember back in issue 4 of King in Black? Well, you see, Eddie was given the Enigma Force, which turns out is the God of Light, also Captain Universe. And so Venom, Eddie, was bestowed with this majestic power, and that's him right now, popping in the middle of the scene, ready to give one final fight to Knull. And like, it's funny because originally Knull was like, Eddie, I've killed you twice already. Like, you're not a threat to me. You kind of suck. But because Eddie is now embodied with the Enigma Force, he can do whatever the hell he wants right now. He's basically equivalent right now to Knull. So essentially, he stands a chance. Therefore, he is the best person to go up against Knull because he's fought him before. And now with the Enigma Force in him, he knows what to do. But wait, there's more to Venom's amazing badass skills. Because before Knull and Venom duke it out one last time, Venom, out of nowhere, calls upon Thor's hammer Mjolnir and calls upon the Silver Surfer's surfboard. And this has never been done before in comics. Yes, Thor's hammer has been picked up by many people like Beta Ray Bill and others, but never before has someone else just decided to call upon Thor's hammer. So that's new. And it's with that where Eddie uses both Mjolnir and the Silver Surfer's board and combines the two, forging the God of Light axe. And as this fight ensues between Knull and Venom, all the heroes are like, we saw what we just saw, right? Like, that was Eddie who just kind of popped down here and did all that cool stuff. And everyone's like, yeah, we all saw the same thing. So basically the consensus happening here is that, okay, Eddie's got this. And it's here where we're given some beautiful panels featuring just badassery across the board. And it's clear throughout this fight, Knull is realizing, oh shit, like, I might die. This sucks. And so Knull is he's so desperate at this moment. He's calling upon all his dragon forces, anyone else who's been consumed by the symbiotes. But Eddie's like, nah. I'm the God of Light. Suck it. And so he starts mauling down all these opponents. He even cuts off the head of a giant symbiote Celestial. Basically, Eddie Brock, he's having a kill streak moment like you have in Call of Duty, except against symbiotes. And that should be a game, but I digress. So once Eddie is basically done sweeping bad guys left and right, he eventually swings his axe to Knull's chest, thereby wounding the villain. And it's with that where Venom uses the God of Light axe and basically pulls Knull's symbiote away from him. making him essentially naked and without any armor of sorts to protect him. And so it's here where Eddie just is like, hey, this looks familiar. Eddie just drops Knull down to the ground, much like how Knull did to him back in issue 1. But wait, there's more, folks, because although Knull is clearly wounded, Eddie is not done with Knull, as he starts flying Knull up towards the sun. And in case you didn't know, symbiotes, they hate fire. However, Venom, he's the god of light right now, so that doesn't really bear any effect to him. But it sure does to Knull, as Eddie finally, in that moment of triumphant victory, throws Knull into the sun, melting him down as if he stuck a bar of butter in the microwave and just let it rip. And it's with that, before Knull meets his demise, Venom declares that this was all for Dylan. And boom, Knull, the god of the symbiotes, the false king in black, is dead. He's super dead. And it's right after that where the Enigma Force starts to communicate with Eddie, telling him that though Knull is now dead, this isn't over yet, because back in the previous issue, Knull was untapping the darkness that was trapped within Dylan, his son. And so Eddie rushes back down to Earth, and as Eddie's making his way down to Earth, we see in the streets of Manhattan, Blade is just confronting all the vampire symbiotes left and right because, you know, he's a bit prejudiced and racist towards vampires, which makes sense, but I digress. And as this fight continues with Blade fighting the vampires, the light pops out of the sky. But it's not over yet, because once Eddie makes his way down onto the streets, he confronts his son, who clearly is having an issue right now because the darkness of Knull is still trapped within him. So as a way to save his son, Eddie just basically holds on to Dylan and says, hey, chill, don't worry, I got you. Just know that this might hurt a bit. And it's from there where Eddie uses the powers of the God in Light and basically just sticks his hand through his son. And from there, he takes out the evil Knull codex that was trapped within Dylan and throws it against the street, thereby saving his son. Now, it's with that where once the battle's over on Earth and like Knull's obviously dead and most of Knull's remnants are basically all destroyed, the Enigma Force says, okay, my job here is done, peace, and he starts to depart from Eddie Brock's body. But before the Enigma Force leaves, it tells Eddie that, for you have become something else entirely. And once Eddie's back in his regular Venom outfit, all the symbiotes that were once under Knull's control start gathering towards Eddie as if like he's like a god of sorts. And it's with that where Eddie just starts flying off into the sky in front of all the heroes, where Eddie is now proclaimed by the now free symbiotes that Eddie is now the new hive mind, the god of the symbiotes. Eddie is now the King in Black. And that was King in Black issue number 1. And once more, folks, Donny Cates is proving time and time again that he is currently one of the best comic book writers in the comic book business. And here's why. Because besides the obvious fact that Cates clearly has an affinity for these characters and that he loves comics and he loves heroes, when it comes to Cates' writing, and without trying to talk ill or to sound like I'm faulting anyone from this, check it, because unlike writers such as Alan Moore, Tom King, or heck, Zack Snyder with his films, Cates is simply just writing a story about Eddie Brock, and that no matter how much Eddie sucks as a person, anyone can be a hero. Anyone can find something that is worth fighting for. And although not everyone can be Venom or the God of Light because the real world sucks, the point in the matter is that this Venom story isn't trying to be deep with its themes. It's not trying to be pretentious or have some hidden meaning or hidden symbolisms scattered throughout. It's purely being a story about how one can fail, but with enough determination, that same person can also rise. And hot damn, Donny Cates, bro, you nailed it. And that's why, my beautiful people, King in Black, issue number 5, gets a 9.5 out of 10. Giggity, giggity, giggity goo.